Hi, I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of InFocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of InFocus.
We've got an exciting week.
Yes, we do.
And how funny that today's In Good Company that we talk a large amount about Symphony Fashion Show happens to be on the same day as the Met Gala.
And the same week that the new Devil Wears Prada movie comes out.
Also that.
It's a very fashionable week, and everyone always says that the Met Gala is the most fashionable night of the year, fashion's biggest night. But for Nashvillians, I really do think that Symphony Fashion Show is fashion's biggest night.
Absolutely. That is absolutely right. And I also just want to say a quick note about The Devil Wears Prada 2. I've not yet seen it. However, I do think that that has done such a great service to print magazines everywhere, like ours. And so go see the movie. I've not seen it, so I can't really endorse it.
I'm going to see it this weekend, I hope, so I'm very excited.
Okay, on top of Steeplechase, too. Yeah, fantastic.
Exactly.
Okay. We've got a lot going on, so let's get started. You had a grand night.
Yes, I did. Grand night is for the Nashville Children's Theater, and I first covered this event last year, and I was so excited to cover it again because let me tell you, it is not your typical fundraiser. Every year, there is an element of surprise because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. There's always a theme, but you don't know how it's going to be executed.
Yeah.
And every aspect of the evening is interactive and, of course, theatrical. So last year's theme was a murder mystery party, and when you arrive, you get a packet with a character description for yourself and little fictional name tags and a bunch of clues, and you're going around and interacting with actors to try to solve the mystery. I had never been to something like that, and it was so much fun. And this year's theme was All the World's a Stage. So the guests got to experience all kinds of cultural installations. The evening started with a seated VIP dinner in a backstage room, and this event does such a great job of utilizing the backstage areas to bring guests into spaces that they may not get to see when just going to see a show at the Nashville Children's Theater. And at the dinner table, guests got their boarding passes, which were basically tickets to different excursions.
Oh, wow.
I got to kind of pop around different rooms and look at the excursions. One of them was a Sips Around the World beverage tasting, which was amazing.
Oh, wow.
There was also a coffee tasting workshop by the Well Coffee House.
Oh,
and
wow.
I am a coffee fanatic.
Yes.
So that was perfect for me. There were salsa lessons, which was a blast. And so many people were involved in twirling and laughing. It was such a great time. And there was also a hands-on class where guests learned about Bingata textile techniques. And
Interesting.
they got to do a little arts and crafts night with these beautiful Japanese-inspired stencils. And it was really fun to kind of see all of these hands-on activities. And I couldn't think of a more fitting way to celebrate and support the country's oldest youth-centered professional theater company.
Yes, and I love the idea that they're bringing guests into being engaged in the evening. So maybe instead of sitting down for dinner and hearing speakers, which in my experience when I've gone, they have done that, but they've added the extra element of interactive activities to do before you do all of that. So
Exactly.
What a fun night.
I absolutely loved it. And there's always an element of surprise.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for covering that. And I'm just really excited about that event. It's fantastic.
It is. Well, speaking of exciting, amazing events, you went to the Symphony Fashion Show Patrons Party.
I did.
Tell me all about it.
Well, first of all, on that night, storms were definitely in the forecast.
Yes, they were.
I mean, they definitely threatened, but fashion held its own, and it's like the night refused to give in. I mean, there were definitely gusts of wind, but beyond that, great event. So guests arrived at the beautiful home of Kelly Crockett, and it was just a stunning setting for a fashion event. It was perfect for it. Co-chairs Marcy Huff, Laura Kimbrell, and new executive chair Ashley Rosen, who's in her first year. They all worked with Bruce Pittman, who also worked with the team at Oscar de la Renta, the headliner designer, to create these moments for both the Patrons Party and the Symphony Fashion Show the next night. So it was really outstanding. When you came out into the pool area, there were these votives floating in the pool with hydrangeas around them that were beautiful. And as we all know, Oscar de la Renta is very well known for his floral looks, for their, textured embellishments that they do. And so this was really kind of perfect because it added that texture and luminescence to it as well.
I love that.
So that was really beautiful. We also were joined that evening and the next night by Alex Bowen, who's the CEO of Oscar de la Renta, and his wife, Eliza, who's the executive vice president of Oscar de la Renta and was Oscar de la Renta's stepdaughter.
Wow.
So she inherited the label when he passed away. So they truly charmed the crowd, visited with everybody, engaged in a very genuine and personal way that was really refreshing to see. So it was wonderful to have them. Many were there in the label that they purchased from Gus Meyer,
Yes.
who is in their 16th year as a partner for the fashion show.
That's incredible.
I know. So that has been a long-standing, cherished tradition. And then the official jeweler, Diamond Seller, of course, had this sparkling display of just absolutely magnificent gemstones and jewelry that they had there. It was absolutely phenomenal. One quick note that I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about is that this is Alan Valentine's last Symphony Fashion Show.
That's right.
I know. And, he has led the symphony for decades and he will be missed. He spoke beautifully about what the show has meant to him over the 21 years of the Symphony Fashion Show. And really spoke from the heart about that. Marcy and Ashley and Laura all also kind of took the microphone as well. One of the, this was a cute moment, actually. Marcy said, I came up with something, how we're all worried about storms in Tennessee.
Yes.
So my saying now is that April showers bring Oscar flowers.
Aw,
I know.
that's cute.
I know. It was super cute. Really loved that. Really great moment and very thoughtful, I
Very.
thought, of her. And then, Laura really spoke to the mission of the Symphony Fashion Show, so that both nights support the raising funds for the community outreach programs that the Nashville Symphony has, specifically the Accelerando program.
Yes.
This program is so important because it gives underserved students the chance to study music and go on into graduate level or secondary education in music, whether it's working in music, playing in music, and it gives those opportunities for those students that they otherwise would not have. And I think what she said so beautifully was like, we could have the next Beethoven in this program, we could have the next Rachmaninoff, who is going to be this person that came out of this program who otherwise would not have had the opportunity to go on to school in music.
Wow, that's amazing.
It really, it truly was a beautiful evening. As guests left, they were gifted with Oscar de la Renta perfume.
Incredible.
I know. Yeah. So it really was a perfect ending to the evening, but also leading up to the next night.
Well, let's get into the next night.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, let's do it. I mean, we have so much content to share with our audience. We're super excited about that. Wow. It was one of the best symphony fashion shows. And I've been to quite a few, I think. I mean, I've not been to all 21, but I've been to several. And this really was outstanding. There were over 740 guests in attendance, which is a record-breaking number.
It's incredible.
The show also raised over $1 million, which is also a record-breaking number.
Yes.
So there were a lot of firsts here for that.
And also a legendary return with Oscar de la Renta returning as a headliner for the 4th year at Symphony Fashion Show.
That's exactly right. And, Bruce Pittman, who I mentioned for the patrons party, created probably one of his best looks yet. I mean, it was outstanding. And he worked with the team at Oscar de la Renta to specifically create this look.
And you can tell, it really looked like the fabrics were brought to life with the tablescapes and these beautiful paper flowers when you walked in. Everything was so intentional.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because the interior was based off of a dress that was shown on the runway later that evening. It's a blue floral gown that is absolutely stunning, but they based the invitations on that gown, on the looks of that gown. They based the invitation liners, they based the linens. Everything was really pointing back inside to that specific gown, which I thought was so smart.
That's genius.
Yes, it was a genius way to do that. Outside the courtyard, where we would have cocktails, became more of a tropical oasis. And so you had leafy green palms. You had these really kind of like tropical looking florals there. So a little bit different than what was inside. We had these cheerful parakeets that were in there. And I do want to assure our audience that they went to a good home afterwards. There was somebody who knew that was a surprise and delight that was coming up, and she put her name on them as soon as she found out about it several months ago. So
incredible.
Yeah, so they have a new home, loving home, so that's very exciting. And, I think that when you first walked in, so many of the senses were engaged.
True.
And it really was from that design. So congratulations, Bruce. That was really fantastic.
Very, very well done.
Yes.
And the show itself was beautiful.
It really was. The Fall Collection 2026. What were some of your favorite looks?
That is such a good question. There was this beautiful silver evening gown with a flowing cape and a shimmering silver and gold floral detailing at the neckline and the shoulders. I was absolutely mesmerized by it. And I thought that it floated down the runway in such an ethereal, beautiful way. So that was very eye-catching to me. And I also loved another gown with a full skirt of white tulle and intricate leaf details that started at the bodice and traveled down the skirt. Because as we've discussed, Oscar de la Renta is famous for incorporating florals, but I loved that several pieces in this collection explored other natural elements, and I thought that was just so beautiful to see on the runway.
That was a fantastic look.
Yes.
I have to agree with you. And I agree with you too. The caped looks were fantastic. There was a chartreuse gown that also had capes off of the shoulders, and I could see myself wearing that. I mean, it was just,
you should get it off the rack.
Like shopping, as the runway's happening. I also loved look number 3. According to the website, it's look number 3. It's a strapless lace mini dress with 3-dimensional floral applique. And I just loved that. I loved the idea of walking in with kind of the 3-dimensional look that really kind of explodes the design off of the page of the gown.
That one was also
in such
beautiful.
a way, so great and textural. Going off of kind of evening looks, though, I liked look number 9, which was a rose skirt suit with a sculptural high neck top.
Oh, I loved that one.
I know. It was stunning, and it really created a dramatic look too. So I think that was something different, and you could imagine walking into a room wearing that and really kind of being a show-stopping piece.
And I feel like it's also so versatile.
That's right. So, you can wear it to brunch, you can wear it to a meeting, and you're going to control the room.
Absolutely.
So anyway, those are some favorite looks.
Yes.
Really love those, but obviously we'll have a lot more looks in our coverage and obviously scrolling through here. But the rest of the evening was so great too. Danielle Breezy, who is a phenomenal MC, just really kind of took control of the room and got everybody seated and got them engaged.
And she always brings the energy, because she mentioned that the night before during storms, she was up until 4 a.m. reporting on air. And then she comes back in at Symphony Fashion Show and brings that same energy and awareness. And
that's right.
I don't know how she does it all.
That's
genuinely.
Right. And honestly, we were kind of talking about this, she was not certain she was going to be able to stay for the whole show, that she was going to have to go get on air. And we all speculated if she would be wearing the Oscar dress that she was wearing that evening.
I loved.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
That mirrored look. So beautiful. But yeah, thankfully we had her for most of the night. So that was great.
That was.
And then the entertainment.
Yeah, Lainey Wilson. Oscar de la Renta really wanted to bring in a legendary act, and Lainey Wilson is absolutely dominating the country scene right now and is killing it. And I think she brought that same energy to the symphony stage.
She really did. And in such again, I use this word a lot, but the genuine, being a genuine person. And she didn't just phone it in. She was there, she was engaged, she was there to perform her art And she did just such a beautiful job with that.
And she also mentioned that she performed her songs in a way they've never been done before with the Nashville Symphony. And there was this beautiful, it was very stripped down, but the strings and the power of her voice really went well together.
You're absolutely right. I think that was beautiful. Again, one of those poignant moments that speaks to the mission. They brought out a student who is part of the cello rondo program, Angel, and he's a junior in high school, and we just loved listening to his story and what the program actually meant for him and how it has given him mentorship that he otherwise would not have had. It has given him leadership skills now and has helped him perfect and move and accelerate his flute performance.
And his gratitude for the program really showed through his speech. And it was really wonderful to hear from him.
It absolutely was. So really excited, and it's those moments that I think bring the mission home and help people understand the why behind why they're sitting in the room, or for our audience who were not able to attend, understand the why behind the event is just so important.
Absolutely.
So that was really great. Of course, the show was just spectacular, and I felt like he had a good number of looks, or I feel like the label had a good number of looks that they
I would agree. And some great variety. Yeah. There was also a beautiful bridal look that genuinely caused the audience to gasp.
Yes, you're exactly right. And that was beautiful.
It really was.
Yeah. So then after the show, patrons stayed for dinner, and that was just a wonderful way to kind of recap. There was a lot of rehashing of the show going on in the room.
For sure.
So that was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Yeah, and so I just, this is truly becoming the fashion night of the year, as you said earlier. And I think that is absolutely true. And we just can't wait until next year. Of course, we have In Focus friends who are co-chairing next year, Maida Lehman-Grimes and Natalie Clements, and they're going to do a great job. And of course, Ashley Rosen now has her sea leg, so she's got, a year of experience under her belt, and I know she's going to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. I'm already looking forward to the next one.
I know. You just need to, if somebody could whisper in our ear who the new designer is going to be next year, we would love to know. Okay, so that's the week with the fashion show. You still had the Harding Art Show, which has a deep heritage in Nashville. So I'd love to hear about that.
It absolutely does. And since its inception in 1975, the Harding Art Show has become one of the largest and most profitable fine art exhibitions in the Southeast. And it is Harding Academy's largest fundraiser that brings over 5,000 people to campus every single year. And this year there were over 100 artists from across the country, all of various mediums. And this year's featured artist was Blair Wheeler. She has these beautiful eye-catching gold leaf canvases that often feature hummingbirds and butterflies as the focal point. And she was chosen this year because her gold leaf art kind of represents what Harding Academy leaders believe is the golden age of the Harding Art Show, which I thought was such a beautiful touch. And she had this one canvas that was floor to ceiling, and it was so eye-catching. And I saw many people with Blair's canvases in their little shopping bags.
Wow. Okay. That's great. And that's, so great for the artist, but also so good for the school.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like yet another successful year.
Yes.
It was 51 years ago they held their first. And what is so fun to me about that is 51 years ago, the money raised went to buy computers for the school.
Love that.
I know. And now it's, we all have computers in our pockets, but exactly. but I love that that's what that was happening 51 years ago.
Absolutely.
So, well, that's our week for this week.
It's been an amazing one.
It really has. Next week, even more exciting, we have the Tiffany Circle Spring Gathering, which you're covering for us. We have the Cheekwood Society Dinner, the Warner Parks Spring Luncheon, the In Focus Homes of Distinction Party, which there are tickets still available. So be sure to come visit me at that party. I would love to see you. We have the Call of the Wild Dinner, which you will be at during the Homes of Distinction Party. Of course, we have all of our steeplechase coverage, and we're very excited to bring that to you. We also are working on a little mini video that will come out in our June issue on Steeplechase. So we're very excited. And we are also sit down with the co-chairs of the Swan Ball auction party. So we're bringing all of that to you next week. So be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like all of our social media, sign up for our newsletter so that you know when the new In Good Company hits your inboxes. And remember that with you, our In Focus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers.
Cheers.